Welcome back to the Kyalami circuit. We're still here broadcasting. Of course, we're looking forward to about 11 a.m. this morning when the Kyalami 9-hour will start, welcoming back international motorsport, world-class motorsport to South Africa, to Johannesburg, to this fantastic circuit that's got 16 turns. And as Toby was telling us a little bit earlier on, I think about 3 of those turns are named after animals, crocodiles and so forth. And Gina, we were speaking to Gina a little bit earlier on, Gina Exian, who is, of course, the safety car driver, and I got the cars confused. So she's decided to actually bring the actual car that she's going to be driving as the safety car, and this is it. It's too cool.
Oh, I want one of these.
I want one. Can I have
one of these when I grow up.
I need to speak to the bosses at ENC. They need to pay us so we can afford these cars. Right? There she is. So this is it. This is the kit. It is
wow.
It is beautiful. It is absolutely amazing. So that's the safety car in for the actual main race, which is the 9-hour, the 9/11. And she was 100% correct. You'll know it when you see it.
I'll be straight up. It doesn't look very safe.
It doesn't. It looks very fast, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know much about vehicles like this, but this is absolutely fantastic. So that's going to be the safety car. Before we got about 10 or so minutes while we got this beautiful car behind us, the 9/11. Just talk 6:30 tonight. The small matter, sort of of the MTN 8 final. Orlando Pirates looking for some silverware after about 6 years. I guess maybe, I don't know whether we call it the surprise package of this particular tournament, the first cup of the 2020-21 season. Celtic, who will you give it to?
Well, the thing is, you got to take it back to sort of end of last season, which kind of happened in the bubble or whatnot, and Celtic were in the Nedbank Cup final, which they narrowly lost to Sundowns as Sundowns marched to their treble. So clearly, Celtic are coming across as the as the COVID team or the lockdown team in terms of strength. They've just carried on that form into a new competition. It would be nice, obviously, they're clearly the underdogs going into that match, but it would be nice for them to get it. But by the same token, you talk about 6 years and Pirates not having done it. I have to say, Pirates have looked much better than say they did last year. Maybe a little bit more consistent this time around. They play nice football. They seem to have a good coach. They seem to have a good thing going there, especially when you consider how easily they saw off Kaizer Chiefs. Granted, some people are going to say, look, seeing off Kaizer Chiefs these days isn't a thing, but still, it was Pirates against Chiefs. So, geez, I must say, favourites, you have to say probably Pirates. But in terms of maybe, who it would be nice to see win it, maybe Celtic,
Okay, we'll see what happens. So that match, MTN finals taking place later on this evening, 6:30, Moses Mabhida Stadium. It was moved by an extra 30 minutes. I don't know what happened. That was sometime last week by SAFA itself. So some good football to look forward to later on. But let's talk cricket as well. Cricket back in action. Okay, the England series. Let's not talk too much about that one. But going forward, Quinton de Kock was named the Test captain for the Sri Lanka series. Was that a surprise for you?
Yeah, massive surprise, simply because obviously when Faf du Plessis gave up the captaincy reins, one of the first things that both Graham Smith, the director of cricket, and Mark Boucher, the head coach of the Proteas, said was one thing that wasn't going to happen was that Quinny was not going to be the captain, simply because he's the white ball cricket captain for South Africa already. So what they were talking was about him being a wicket keeper and a batsman, and so they were saying that would be too much of a workload for him. So when they named him yesterday as the captain, obviously it has to have come as a surprise, simply because they said they weren't going to do that. But what it does, though, it raises questions as to what happened. We had the media. I kept talking about the candidates or the shortlist to succeed Faf, and frankly, it was more a media list. When we said Dean Elgar, Themba Bavuma, Aiden Markram and I'm trying to think, Rassie van der Dissen.
Yeah.
So those guys we came up with, you have to say, I mean, they've been deliberating practically since February, and they haven't come up with with a decision. Does that mean they don't have faith in the guys' ability to lead the team? Or is it a simple case of none of those guys have kind of cemented their case?
Yeah.
Or actually, do they want? Is there a part of them? Because convener of selectors Victor Mpitsang, the first thing he apparently asked the coach and the director of cricket was, why can't Quinton de Kock be the captain of the test team? And so he's now ended up in this temporary role. So maybe he's in with a shot. And then maybe the last thing I'm thinking of is a guy like Aiden Markram has always been touted as the next South Africa captain, from when he led the under-19 side to the World Cup victory in 2014, I think it was. But I think the real issue is, he hasn't exactly cemented his place in the team.
Yeah.
So they're probably hoping that he takes his 4-day form into Test cricket, and once he's done that, maybe people will be less sort of uncomfortable with the idea of him leading the team, because he's there on the basis of the runs that he's making.
Look, I mean, that last point for me is critical, because in any sport, in any code, if you're going to be captain, you have to be consistent, because you have to be on the field.
Yeah,
98% of the time, unless you're injured.
Well, you kind of have to be the first name on the team sheet, not based on the fact that you're captain, but based on what it is that you do for the team in terms of performance. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some boxing that's coming up a little bit later on. Good to see some fans back at boxing. This particular bout, there will be fans allowed back. I think about 4,000 fans. It's Anthony Joshua. He's back in the ring against it's Pulev. It's a mandatory fight for Joshua. He has to fight. You have to have a certain amount of fights if you're a champion. Otherwise, you lose your belt.
Yeah.
That's what they mean by mandatory fights. What are the chances of an upset?
I'll be honest. Look, I mean, I don't quite see it. It's almost an emergency fight, because these two were supposed to fight in 2017, I think, in Cardiff, some years back. That didn't happen because of an injury to Pulev, and then they were supposed to fight in June. Obviously, that couldn't happen because of COVID, and so it's almost like an emergency fight, and a fight that Joshua has to get out of the way so that he can secure, I think, a mega sort of 2-fight deal with Tyson Fury for all 3 of his belt. I think he's got the IBO, WBA, and the IBF, WBA and WBO. See, this is what happens with the alphabet soup. You get confused. So I don't quite see an upset. Pulev is 39. Joshua is 31 years old. If Pulev was maybe a puncher, which his record suggests he isn't, because he's got 28 fights. He's got 29 fights, sorry, and he's lost and he's lost 1, and then his knockout ratio is about only half of those. And so if you do look at that, he doesn't have a puncher's chance. And I'll be honest, I don't quite see it happening. And I think.
She's not.
She's
really not messing around, is she?
Thanks for messing up my interview. Just drive off into the sunset. You know what I mean?
We've got to wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for joining us live here. Justin Ford will be here for most of the day. You just saw Gina take off in that safety car. So no fans allowed this time around for the Kyalami 9-hour. Morena Mutupi took a look at the bigger picture for the whole race. Until next time, bye-bye.
A lot of rubber will be burnt between Thursday and Saturday when the Intercontinental GT Challenge drivers compete in the final leg of the series at the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit. In accordance with COVID-19 regulations, fans unfortunately won't be allowed to attend this year's event, which is making a return for a second successive year. One of the young guns who will be behind the wheel in the BMW M6 GT3, Sheldon van der Linde, says this race happening in his backyard adds to the nerves he already has.
Like you said, it's my last race of the season as well, and it's my home race. Of course, I think that has a bit more to do with the nerves. Coming to your home race, you want to perform in front of your home crowd, which is a great shame because we don't have spectators this year. And obviously we would love to have the fans here supporting us, asking for autographs like we did last year, but obviously that's not the case this year, so we're going to have to make the best out of the opportunity here. And
24-year-old Jordan Pepper, who grew up just 20 minutes away from the track, will be hoping to repeat the performance he put up in Bathurst, Australia in February by claiming victory on home soil.
When you're in a structure for so many years, to have something come in that's really uncertain and flip things on its head, just shows you got to capitalize on every opportunity you're given. And I think that's the most important thing today, this weekend, going forward into the future, and it's a life lesson you learn. And I think if you never stop learning, you're always growing, which is important in any career, in any sport.
The Audi team is said to have the standout car on the track, at least in terms of looks, and it'll be in the care of Sheldon's big brother, Kelvin.
I think it's cool to be part of a brand like Audi. Every year we've had our special designs. Last year as well we had the iconic zebras design for the 9 hour. This year we have let's say a tribal mixed with a leopard skin. And I think it's cool that the brands are embracing that, this South African tradition, really. It's a shame that the fans won't see it next to the track, but on TV hopefully it's an eye catcher.
The three South Africans will know that all eyes will be on Norwegian Dennis Olsen, who claimed the 9-hour title last year in his Porsche. Morena Mutupi, Johannesburg.